Hi guys, welcome to the live stream. We have EyeJax with us, we have Pelle with us. Supposedly we were supposed to have Roy with us as well. He was caught up with work, urgency. Not sure whether he will be able to make it, but let's hope so. If not, we can manage, right guys?
Of course we can.
Of course, we're adults.
We're adults. Pelle, welcome buddy. So before we start talking about Schreuder, which is very important, it's the main topic of today. How is Holland treating you, buddy?
Well, it's treating me fantastic so far. I apparently chose the wrong year to come here due to the fact that things have been going downhill since I moved here, basically. So I think that might be, I think Schreuder to some extent is on me, guys. Sorry. I think that the correlation is too big.
I'm meaning to ask you this, by the way. I mean, you're from Sweden, right?
Yeah.
Are there any resemblance between the Swedish people and the Dutch people, or I shouldn't go there?
Difficult to say. Some of us are tall, you know. Yeah, yeah, I'd say so. There's a quite similarity to that extent, but a lot of tall blonde people, I'd imagine.
So you have blonde people, we have blonde people, so the bridge is there.
They go everywhere apparently. Go figure.
All right, but you're loving your stay. You're studying right now. Everything's going well.
Exactly.
Perfect.
I absolutely love it.
Perfect. And you have more time now to visit the Ajax games as well.
Well, I do. The problem is the motivation kind of loses a little bit of the charm now, doesn't it? But that's another thing entirely.
Exactly. Okay. Well, then it's good that we invited you to the show. EyeJax, you as well. Guys, look, it's been clear now that Schreuder is staying, you know, despite the result, despite how things are going. So it's clear. Also, Van der Sar giving that in interviews recently. So we thought, you know what? Okay, let's help Schreuder a little bit. You know, let's give him a push in the right direction. Let's help him with a couple of pointers, things he has to pick up in the second half of the season. Maybe he will do better with Ajax, you know? Let's hope so. You never know. Maybe on a Sunday evening, he's bored. He'll check YouTube. He'll see us. He'll listen. And he'll take some of the points that you guys are giving right now. Or maybe the people on the live stream.
Let's hope so, Juan. Let's hope so.
Let's hope so. Pelle, let me start with you. On a serious note, we saw a few months of Ajax football. We saw a lot of things happening. What do you feel like at this point, at this stage, going into the second half of the season? What do you think we should do? At least Schreuder should pick up on and start doing differently, in your opinion?
I mean, I think first of all, he should probably just read the room, because I'm not entirely sure how much he's in connection with the fan base or the players at this point. So I kind of get in the interviews, I kind of get a little bit of a disconnect going into, oh, well, but we played excellent when we played Rangers. Yeah, because they're the worst side in Champions League history. So I think he might need to read the room first of all before actually going to do something. And secondly, just if you want to address an issue, first of all, you need to know that there is an issue, right? So I kind of get in the feeling that right now he's a little bit too comfortable with the situation, because he knows nothing's going to happen if he performs poorly, because the club supports him. So I think that's the first thing you kind of have to do, to actually acknowledge that there is a problem, and it's quite big. And it's not just the fans overreacting, as some of the staff might believe.
You know, it's hard, right? Because reading the room part that you're mentioning, for me, it's a little bit 50-50, because sometimes I feel like he's protecting the players. I mean, he cannot be that coach that doesn't see the things we see as well, right? We cannot be that disconnected from each other.
At least I hope. You never know. That's the
right.
thing, because we don't have a lot to base that information on. So let's just hope he actually knows.
And the second thing, and maybe EyeJax can jump in here. I don't know. I heard you say that before in previous shows or videos that we did, EyeJax. The standards of the coach. Is this maybe where you're heading towards as well? I mean, the standards. I mean, we just came from Ten Hag, of course. We know what standards he has, and we're going to Schreuder. It seems like he's a little bit opposite. Or am I going too far here, EyeJax?
No. It's very refreshing. You as a host giving your opinion, so I'm all for it, bro. No,
you guys.
No. Where to start? You know, there are so many things that we can discuss, and I touched upon many topics also in previous talks, like you mentioned. But one of the things that also Pelle briefly touched upon is his lack of self-awareness. This is what bothers me a lot. if you play so many bad games in a season so far, get ass whooped, do not alter your tactics while you know you have difficulty getting a result at the period that you are in the season. That says something. If he says, I saw a good game while the game was crappy, it's a lack of self-awareness. And if you do not have that, it's difficult to improve it because you do not see the problem, like Pelle stated, So this is one of the things that bothers me the most, besides all of the results, bad results, and also the interviews, the way he presents himself. But the thing that bothers me the most, Juan, is he should start playing players in that position. He's still trying to find his first 11 and plays left wingers on the right wing position, plays Kudus as a striker while he's clearly a 10. You could see it at Ghana squad also, also he plays a little bit deep there, but still he's a midfielder. These things are important. If you have a stubborn coach that doesn't do anything about it and just keeps doing that same shit over and over again, it will not change overnight, and you will start losing the dressing room also, because I think this is also part of what is happening at the moment at the club. The player power is there, and they do not support him fully, which I understand.
Why is that, according to you?
Because you have to lead by example. If you have a manager that gives those kind of interviews, and makes that kind of statements, and also makes those decisions, that influence the players also. If the leader of the pack, the alpha, the trainer, if he doesn't lead by example, what are the players supposed to do? They should be professional. I agree with you, but if you lose confidence, maybe in the gaffer, in the coach, it's quite difficult to keep that up. And
but what leads to the fact? I'm just missing a little bit. Sorry for this, EyeJax.
No worries.
What does it lead to for them to lose confidence in the coach? Is it the results? Is it the constant shifting of the players? Is it playing players not in their natural position? What is it for you?
It's difficult. Look, we can see the outcome, We cannot see everything that is happening also within a dressing room.
Of course.
But clearly, he's doing something wrong, because there is drama within the dressing room. There are things not going well. And these are decisions made by the coach, and also maybe the personality he shows, that they do not respect him enough maybe to follow his lead or to give their 100%. With Ten Hag, he was a stubborn mule also. But he has a personality, You do not give him shit because he will make the rough decisions towards the team. Maybe he will try to protect the players in the media, but he is not afraid to make rough decisions. And also with that first interview of the season that Schreuder gave, with I want to try to get to learn the person behind the player. It sounds a little bit soft to me. It is important to know what the players think about and what is happening within their lives and what is going on in their heads. But first and foremost, they should try to execute what the coach tries to implement. And the other things should not be the primary subject the coach has to do. He should manage it, but it shouldn't be his first focus. And I think he's trying to keep everybody happy and trying to be a people manager more than going for the results and really fixing what is wrong.
Exactly. I do remember, though, that in the beginning when Ten Hag started, there were rumors and reports coming out that the players were a little bit hesitant towards his way, his approach, in trainings and these kind of things. I think also it helps when, results go well, then the players will line up, and start doing what the coach wants, because then they believe that the coach, his tactics, what he wants is working out, right? So I think this is something that also Schreuder has to prove going forward, especially in the second half of the season. It's very narrow margins, winning, losing, confidence, these kind of things. Pelle, is there anything you want to add to maybe before we go to the comments? I mean, there's a lot more we can discuss, but I want to also include the people that have something to say about this. What other points do you feel like, okay, Schreuder should really pay attention to this?
But is there, because I wanted to reflect on something that EyeJax was saying as well, and that's how it changed from the beginning of the season and how it changed to, for example, how it looks now. There's a complete lack of, as we say, a confidence due to the fact. Can you remember what he said in the beginning when he came into the club? It was basically, we're gonna, compete in the Champions League. we're going to go far. Exactly. And now you ask him, it's like, yeah, but we're only second, it's not too bad. We're still second in the league. So I think that reduction in confidence, I don't know if he got realistic or something like that. I don't think so. I'm just feeling that complete, like that ambition, that level of ambition really came crashing and burning. And I'm not entirely sure what happened there, but it's very much a situation which I'm not entirely comfortable with, due to the fact that
let me be the devil's advocate here. I want your opinion. Sorry, I have to be. Just let me ask you a question, because we've been touching upon the fact that, yeah, Schreuder has to do better. It's unacceptable. Emma game, Vitesse game, we lost against the big teams, etc., etc. Now, we're hearing from Van der Sar, from the coach himself, from multiple people around the club, management, etc., and even some pundits are saying the quality of the players is not really the quality that fits Ajax. Are we overestimating maybe our squad or our team, or is this just an excuse in your view?
I think there's something to it, but at the same time, I don't believe that is the main that main issue. I mean, if you look, for example, a lot of the players who've been out on international duty now, for example, works wonderfully in that type of in that type of structure. And I wouldn't say that it don't fit our play style because if you have seen the last couple of games which Schreuder had, can you really say that that's the way we used to play? Is that really the way Ajax plays? Like, play it out from the back and just spray and pray and hope for the best, and not really use the defense more offensively, for example, play them pretty I don't know. I don't think that's really our play style.
Yeah, I will ask you guys more about the tactical side of things, so we will jump into that maybe after the comments. I just want EyeJax's reaction also as my question to maybe we're overestimating our squad, but I have a feeling you don't agree.
I think it's utter and total bullshit, to be honest, and I'm going to explain to you why. Because yes, the difference in players and the team needing to gel in, it's definitely an issue. But we should have the strongest team within the Eredivisie to be comfortably at the #1 position at the winter break that we are having now.
Even with the deficiencies that we have, like the build-up.
Even with the deficiencies that we have, all other teams had also players that went away and came in. So this has to do something with the chemistry within the team and with the coach. And I'm going to give you another example. Yes, maybe within the Champions League, we lost too many players to compete at the highest level, especially with a team like Napoli in the group stage that surprised me very much, that played wonderful football and were very strong. But still, when you get that ass whooping, the biggest ass whooping we had in Europe, I believe, historically, then it's up to the coach to give your team a fighting chance. You might realize, I do not have the players at the moment to get a result or maybe a win. But play different tactics. Do something differently as a coach. You're responsible for the tactics and the players that you play in those matches. And if you see the naivety that we played again in Naples, the way we played there, it was a little bit better, but still, he wants to play the Ajax way. And I understand, because we love to play our own style. But you have to come to a certain conclusion at a certain extent that it is not working. So you try to alter it a bit to have a fighting chance.
Yeah.
You understand? Like against Benfica last season that we got eliminated. We were the better team over 2 matches. They played a certain tactic. They knew they probably couldn't win football-wise. At the end, they won with 1 free kick with a header and we were out.
Yeah.
So why couldn't we maybe get a result if we alter the tactics? And this is something that you have to blame the coach for.
Yeah.
He should be able to analyze it.
Yeah, but you're mentioning an example, but I don't really think that you want to go that extreme, right? Just sit back and wait for a chance, right?
No, but you could go and thinking like, okay, maybe I should play a double pivot with Alvarez and with how's the guy called from Grealish? Sorry, I was forgetting his name. With Grealish in front of the defense, with a little bit more defensive balance within the team, so that you could have a block and can fight better at that midfield, not losing all the duels.
Okay.
You know, those certain like decisions, it's up to the coach, and he failed miserably in that area.
Okay. All right. So flexibility, adjusting, reading the room. You know. Also, maybe assessing the quality of your team, of your squad, sometimes. Let's jump to the. I don't know if there are comments. EyeJax, maybe you can.
Let me browse through it. There are some. First of all, let me check. Yeah, there's one from Steven. I'm sure we all agree that the chief steward of the club is the coach. Do you see Ajax still considering alternatives to Alfred? Thoughts on how the World Cup players are utilized with their national teams?
Pelle, you want to take this one?
I mean, for sure. I mean, alternatives for Alf. No, I don't really think that. Especially if you listen to them for the last couple of statements that released, I don't think there's anyone near replacing him. Even if they would, I don't think they're actively looking at all. So I think that thought has been more or less, that ship has sailed, struck a mountain and sunk to the bottom of the ocean. I think that's not really what's going to happen anytime soon.
No.
So unfortunately, and that's a little bit what we're talking about today, right? Is the fact that, well, he's here to stay, at least for the rest of the season. So how can, make good of a bad situation? And I don't think there's going to be a replacement anytime soon. But on the other factor was also very interesting due to the fact that how the team players are being utilized in their team. I mean, for example, Kudus, amazing at the position which he plays for Ghana. At Ajax, I mean, he scored, but is that the only thing we're trying to achieve with our strikers? I don't think so. So I think that it comes back to that as well, that they're trying to play players out of the natural position, and that's going to bite us hard. And I just hope that he watches it as, for example, he watched the Ghana game and basically was like, this is what I'm missing out on. Maybe you should actually try to play this, and with Brobbey up front. Will he? Well, let's hope he's bored on Sunday, as you said, and turns into this podcast.
Yeah. Do you think he was watching Ghana and was like, wait, what? This is a midfielder? I thought he was an attacker.
I wanted to touch upon the last game. Yeah, I wanted to touch upon the last game. I was a bit surprised because Kudus didn't play the same position as the first match, right? He was a bit pushed a little bit more to the right wing side. He came inside, of course, but he was more on the right position. I wanted to ask you, do you see maybe, because there are a couple of fans that are maybe saying maybe we should try Kudus as a right winger at Ajax, because the right wingers come inside as well. Ajax saying no, so why not?
No, we tried different type of players at that right wing position. Tadic isn't playing his best at that position. Bergwijn isn't playing his best at that position. I think you have to come to a realization that you should play natural players on that position. And for me, it's time for Chico to shine. He should get more minutes. He should get more playing time there, because the players that play there, the last couple of matches, are not delivering either. So the arguments that he's still young and maybe cannot bring a certain quality for a couple of matches adjacent, it's a non-argument, because the players that are there and playing the matches, most of them are playing below par.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. All right. Clear. I think the question was also other players that maybe, Pelle, I'm going to give it to you. The other players that are playing for the World Cup, did anyone surprise you? Anyone else apart from Kudus?
I'm trying to figure that out.
Are they utilized as well with their teams? Correct?
Yeah, no, exactly. I'm trying to figure that as well, because trying to think about it, because I wasn't that impressed with Alvarez, or I wasn't impressed with, what's his face? I forgot the name.
Jorge?
Sanchez.
Yeah, Sanchez, exactly. I wasn't really impressed by their performance in the Mexico games. Otherwise, no, not necessarily. The only one I was basically surprised of did something was basically David Klaassen. He wasn't just as bad as I thought he might have been. So that's always a surprise when he actually delivers to a certain extent. So
always that type of player that's underestimated a little bit, right?
A little bit, yeah. But yeah, there's a big disagreement in the community of Klaassen, I imagine. But at the same time, I don't, he shows up sometime. It's just when he doesn't, that's the problem.
Yeah, and Tadic playing free role, behind the striker position.
Yeah.
He had a decent assist from that free kick with the header. They made a 1-1. They were 1-0 behind, and he gave a beautiful assist from a free kick. Great header in the far corner. So he shows some of his qualities. So
he still has. Although he's a bit slower, of course. Not that explosive anymore as he was. You do see that he still has that vision can cross the ball well, give the ball true passes, these kind of things. So he's still that quality player in that area, to be honest. In my opinion.
I agree.
I agree.
Yeah. Any other comments?
Let me browse through it, through a few. Our buddy Rick, all the way down from Australia, very
Good
early
morning,
for
Rick.
him, watching us. Big up to you, Rick. Congratulations with Australia making it through the next round.
Absolutely.
That was a surprise.
That's an amazing surprise. So thanks for being here as always. Let me see. Yeah, just some love being showed towards us, like Muhammad Ali. He's a Manchester fan. We've done many collaborations, of course, with United Few, with Flex, and with a lot of our brothers in England. So always nice to see some support from there, you know. So thank you for being here also.
Thank you,
Our
man.
buddy from the UK, Gary, is here also with a question. I feel the club are sticking with the coach because they have no one to replace him with a present. We're in transition again and need a stronger board. Schreuder was on attack with the media it continues, from day one, and he's becoming a bit arrogant, like he doesn't care if he gets sacked, and the players see it.
Well, it's an interesting point. I heard that as well. Do you guys think that that's the real reason why they're not really want to maybe sack Schreuder at this point? That because there's no alternative? Pelle, what do you think?
No, I don't think so. I think not entirely. I think there's a big part of it as well because I think mostly that is due to the fact that they have faith in him, not necessarily that they don't have any other alternative. I think that's more towards that end, that they don't have another alternative because they have faith in him. So I don't think it's the other way around, really. But then again,
I feel, and that's been said. I mean, that's been a hidden message from der Sar. They feel guilty about the summer window. They feel guilty what they gave Schreuder at the end because he said also recently even that it was 2 key players were not supposed to leave. I think they're talking about Anthony and Martinez.
Well, ain't that wonderful that they realize that now after selling them? Fantastic. Hindsight's 2020, guys. No, that doesn't fill me with confidence either. Then it's just a poor management.
Yeah, but to reflect on that subject, Juan, it's bullshit. I understand that you lose a few big players, and this is totally right. But a lot of players that got attracted to the club, that got signed, were from the same management as Schreuder has. So he had a say in it, who comes in and who doesn't come in. He must have given his okay, these are the players that I want. So yes,
you would assume that way. You would assume
yes,
that.
you can give you can use the excuse, I may not have Licha, and we can all see what he does at Manchester, you know. He's been terrific there also. So it's a big loss for us in the defense. And yes, we lose Anthony with a lot of creativity on that right side. But you bought for over 100 million worth of players. You know, which other team within the Eredivisie can do that? And he is partly responsible for giving his okay that he has faith in those players to come in and do the job. So for me, it's too easy for everybody just covering their ass and saying, yeah, but we didn't do a good job. Also, we lost a few players. Bullshit. It should be enough to do well in the Eredivisie. It should be more than enough to do well in the Eredivisie. So you should also look at all the other aspects like we talked before, what has to do with the coach. But they decided to cover for him. Okay, that's about it. But it doesn't change, at least my opinion about it.
Yeah. All right. Guys, I want to... Go ahead, Pelle. You want to react on that?
No. I completely agree with EyeJax on that one.
All right, no discussion there then.
No debates, no.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Look, I said I want to touch upon that a little bit, go deeper into this. Go into the tactics of Schreuder. And one of the things, deficiencies that we touched upon is the build-up. You know, the build-up seems to be an issue, which is why also on this channel, but also in all social media, basically, Twitter, Instagram, all these kind of things, you hear people discussing Blind yes, Blind no, we need him, we don't need him, you know, for the build-up, basically. So let's say, because we don't even know what the Blind situation will be, there are a lot of rumors going on right now, but let's for a second think of a squad without Blind, because Blind will take a lot of the responsibility in the build-up phase. Let's rule them out in this example. How would you fix the build-up situation with this current squad, Pelle?
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Isn't it? Because a lot of our players, which we have right now, haven't really been that convincing at it. I mean, that is the problem, right? Because I also read somewhere that the fact that, for example, Bassi ain't great when it comes to for the build-up. For example, he's just strong on the ball, for example, and not really contributes any further. So I'm trying to figure that one out myself. But then again, I think also what we must remember is also the fact that it's not only Blind that's left, if we were to lose value if he left. I mean, for example, Masroi was also one of the key players when it came to our build-up, at least on the right wing. So in Schreuder's defense, I don't really see a workable solution, especially with the squad right now. Maybe Grealish can come in and be a little bit of a part in that, but at the same time, I'm not entirely sure. I don't think Sanchez is going to be that great on that part as well.
Oh, you can rule it out.
Yeah, exactly. Maybe Kaplan, we haven't seen him play really. He might add something to, play actually, from the build-up and add something in the back. But right now, I'm having a hard time seeing it. And that might be a lack of vision from Schreuder's part rather than actually, the quality of the players. But at the same time, I might be complete off on that one.
EyeJax, do you have an opinion about this?
I have an opinion about everything, bro. No, but seriously, in all fairness, we attracted Wijndal towards the club. It's a left back. We signed him. It's obvious that Blind his time has come, to take the bench or maybe take an adventure elsewhere. I do love the guy. He's a child of the club, but if the whole team isn't clicking, we cannot cover for him to cover for his liabilities, So we should play the players that we signed to play their natural position. So for me, Wijndal should take that left back position. In my opinion, the way to change things with the build-up is also think about the rest defense, not going all out all the time with only two players at the midfield line, to cover for some counterattacks. You have to think about the balance a little bit more and not only state like we have to score more goals than we concede. Yeah, that is a statement by Schreuder, and it's just stupid.
You keep saying
but it's just stupid. It's so stupid.
Out of context, bro.
It's just stupid.
Out of context.
But what I'm trying to say is what you could do is play in midfield, but it's difficult because maybe then you have to bench, for example, Kudus. You could play in midfield with Alvarez, Berghuis, and Taylor. And let them come deep towards their own half to help out with the build-up, because Berghuis and Taylor are both players that are comfortable on the ball and can progress the ball forward. Another thing that is necessary is the tandems on the left and the right side need to be gelled together better. Mazraoui with Anthony was a great build-up side on the right side last season. Same with Tadic. He has that ability, but he should have a partner that he can play combination football with. So for now, maybe the wingers should also drop a little bit deeper towards their own half to help out with the build-up play so that they are available for passes to receive, and then progress the play further. If you have more positions that you can rely on, then you can try to progress the play upwards towards the opponent's area, not only relying on one certain player. Because if you do that, you get like easy to read, and they can try to alter the tactics to just press that player and keep Bessie in the free row, for example, who cannot do it. So you should have several options, and in my opinion, these are one of the better options for now that we have with our current squad to implement a little bit more of passing, playing creativity within the team.
Let me go a little bit deeper into this, right? I want to ask you something. So I'm thinking about the examples that you're giving. The wingers have to help, you said. So I'm thinking about that. Do you want the wingers to help to become extra midfielders, or do you want the wingers to help to take over the positions where the wing backs are going deep and they're coming back to receive the ball at the sides?
If you look at the difference between the first 5 matches of the season and the matches afterwards, you saw a lot of position changes within the team, a lot of even more than under Ten Hag.
Yeah.
If your wingers are not only static and trying to keep it wide, but also try to to have their part in the passing play, then the backs can go wide or go deep and surpass them. They can invert. So if they are part of the play, even when they're not keeping the pitch wide enough, like the normal position of a winger, then you get more unpredictable and you get more room and more area to play the ball in. And this is important. So I'm not trying to say that they should do a defensive job only. They should try to mingle within the play and help out at the moment where it's not working. Instead of just keeping it wide and not being part of the play at all.
Yeah, another thing that you said, which is very interesting, is that you mentioned maybe Grealish, you mentioned Berghuis, you mentioned Taylor. I'm going to give this one to Pelle, but I want your reaction as well, EyeJax, on this one. So we saw 2 years ago, I think, 2.5 years ago, we saw that Gravenberch, when he was like the midfielder, he would fall back a little bit deep on the left center position, the left back position, and he would help with the build-up phase. If you would designate this role to somebody in the team, who would be the best fitted player to do something like that, to assist with the build-up, Pelle?
I think I saw it in chat previously, and I must say I completely agree as well. Someone said that probably would be Kudos in the sense, due to the fact that he would probably be the most beneficial in that sense.
But is Kudus the one that should take the responsibility that deep up the field?
I mean, that is the thing, right? Because then you cannot lose some of his qualities as well. And at the same time, I'm not sure if it's been tested before. But at the same time, I'm not entirely sure which other player would have that type of characteristics which we would require for that role. You could argue maybe Taylor, but that's also, a little bit of a stretch. But if my money would be down on one of those players, I would probably just have to say Kudus. Otherwise, I have a really hard time, because I do believe that he contributes something to the team which you actually really need in that midfield, especially compared to what he would contribute up front. But otherwise, I'm having a hard time to try to find more solid options for that type of position, because you kind of have to have someone who's more of an all-around player to be able to do that. And like I said, I'm not sure if it's been tried. But once again, obviously, Schreuder is throwing everything at the wall to see what sticks. So might as well try this as well while we add to it.
Okay. EyeJax?
Yeah, it's apples and oranges for me, Juan. Because in that example that you gave, Blind was the left back playing. And the reason why Gravenberch had to go deep and help out on that side is because of Tadic and Blind both playing on that side. If you play Wijndal as a left back, you shouldn't have to cover as much as you have to do with Blind because of his liabilities. So I can easily see a Berghuis also, for example, who's playing terrifically the first half of the season. One of the better players, maybe the best player, also in improving compared to last season. I could see him doing a job also there. And you saw him also in the Dutch national squad last year, and also within Ajax, working hard, also trying to recover those balls, playing decent matches, playing a little bit more towards his own goal than towards the goal of the opponent, so less deep. I can see him doing that also. Also, Taylor can take that role. But if you play with Blind, you should have a player like Gravenberch even more, because there are certain liabilities that we need to cover for. But in the example that I gave, Blind isn't playing that position anymore. So you can try to focus more on the midfield itself than also trying to play for other players because of the liabilities.
Okay. But what would be your first pick? Would you try or give the role to Berghuis first or Taylor first?
Probably, yeah, it's very difficult. I think I see Berghuis maybe being able to do it a little bit better than Taylor. I love to see Taylor a little bit more deep, and I think Berghuis is a little more versatile than Taylor is, especially in his awareness in a deeper position towards his own goal. I saw him play terrific matches while the team wasn't playing well at all. So, I have a lot of faith in him to see what he brought in the first half of the season while others were not performing at all.
Interesting points, guys. Before we continue, let me know, EyeJax, are there any questions or comments?
I have to browse a little bit. Let me check. Yeah, this was a funny one. Would it be something if the Netherlands went deep in the tournament with Klaassen and Blind playing? It would. Yeah, but let's be honest, we didn't play well. but we still got 7 points. And against the USA, that will be a tougher match because they have a lot of talent and younger players. But I can still see us winning and progressing, and then you're already in the quarterfinal, you know. So it's already the last 8.
No, it's yeah, you're right. You're right.
Quarter, yeah. So yeah, we can progress, and if we have a beneficial draw again, you could even maybe reach the semis. So yeah, I do not know if it has to do with the quality of Klaas and Blind, to be honest, but more also with the draw that you have as a team, because we weren't tested.
You like
Don't
to say
jinx it. Don't jinx it.
Yeah, but you like to say apples and oranges. The Dutch squad is playing a totally different system, right?
So there's only oranges in the Dutch squad, Juan.
Nice one. All right, let's continue.
Yeah. Also, some love from Ghana. Big up to the LiveTalk Ajax crew. Always watching you from Ghana. We love watching you too. Supporting Ghana all the way this tournament. Very happy that you guys are doing well. Kudus is doing well. Let me check. There was a question from. It's difficult because you have to browse so much.
Yeah, it's okay.
Here from Alex. Hi guys, thoughts on Arne Slot as a new Ajax coach? You know, he's been mentioned a few times before in the past, but I think also the management of Feyenoord made clear that he's not available. He's in the current season with Feyenoord.
But wait. He has a clause.
Yeah.
He admitted they know. I mean, ESPN, they asked, and he has a buyout clause.
Yeah. I do not think that they will go for him, to be honest, this season.
But why not?
Yeah, I would. I would definitely prefer him above.
Wait. Not now in through the season, but maybe in the summer if things don't work out. Why not? I'm just posing a question.
I'm open for it because I think he's a terrific coach and has a lot of talent. What he is showing at Feyenoord for the seasons that he's there is very impressive.
Yeah,
because with the limited funds.
We are complaining, or Schreuder and Van der Sar are complaining about the summer window. Did you see what happened to Feyenoord this summer window?
Yeah, they were also completely rated.
Yeah,
I don't see. It might be me who's not watching Feyenoord games, but I don't see him complaining about it.
And I can tell you one thing: they didn't spend 100 million.
That's why I'm saying the Eredivisie shouldn't be an excuse, because other teams needed to rebuild also, and probably big chance that even PSV will lose Gakpo in the winter transfer window. If he continues like this, and Man United comes with a big bag of money, he's gone. Because after this season, he only has a contract left for 1 year, so it shouldn't be an excuse. We should be cruising in the Eredivisie again. So let me check for some more comments, Juan.
If it's a nice question, we give it to Pelle.
Yeah.
But if it's a bad question, who takes it then?
Yeah, then I take it.
No bad questions, guys. No bad questions.
Yeah, I think. No, Thomas is here also, but no real questions to really handle now. I think we can continue.
All right. So Thomas is here. Let me do my confession towards Thomas. I was thinking about messaging him today. Yeah. So I was cheering for Mexico yesterday, obviously.
Yeah.
But Poland advanced now. So I'm sorry, Thomas. I hope you'll still be on the channel soon in the future, if that's okay. Guys, about the World Cup, let's touch upon that. You know, any, second week now, maybe second, going to third week. Final group stage matches almost done. What's your overall feeling at this point? Any favorites? Things becoming more clear? Shocks? Maybe surprises? Pelle?
Well, a lot of shocks, I'd have to say, but at the same time, not. I don't know if I glorify the last World Cup or if I'm just demonizing Qatar. But for most of the tournament, I've been bored out of my mind. I'm not gonna lie. It's not really been a great tournament as of the overall quality. I really have enjoyed Ghana, for example. There's been in Senegal. I've also enjoyed watching, for example. Otherwise, I watched the Argentina-Poland game yesterday with some Polish people. that was my highlight of the game, to be honest. It wasn't even the game; it was just the reaction from the people watching the game. So yeah, Thomas, I hope you were happy about the result. But yeah, in that you went through, but otherwise, nah, not really. Not really.
If you, by the way, if you okay, let me say something positive. I was really before I saw this comment, I was about to say this. If you would be able to give the best goalkeeper of the tournament so far, it would be Chesney, right?
Chesney was terrific, yes.
Yeah.
In every game, basically.
Oh, he's been carrying them. He's
Yeah.
been carrying them for sure.
Absolutely. EyeJax, what about you? World Cup. Do you feel the same way as Pelle, or are you a bit more?
Yeah, I'm going to be honest with you. I was a little bit World Cup tired last couple of days, so I watched a lot. I watched a lot of games in the beginning, and like a lot, almost all of them I tried to watch. Sometimes with one eye, but still trying to watch them. But after a while, I got tired, man. I was like, no football. And then I got excited. Yes, Dutch squad is playing, and every time they disappoint me, and I got tired even more. So, but I'm very happy to see that our neighbors Belgium got eliminated. It's always nice.
I saw your tweet.
There was
always nice to see, because of our buddy Thibaut Courtois was bashing us at the Euros last time. You know, like we're going through to the next round, but the Dutch aren't. So Thibaut, hello, man. Good luck. Trip back to Belgium. Love to see it. So today, hopefully, we see the Germans also got eliminated. That would make my day.
It is a shock, though, about Belgium. It is a shock. It's almost the end of an era.
They are so poor this tournament.
Yeah,
have you seen that first match against Canada? They should have lost that one.
But Canada played probably their best game, the first game. So
yeah, but doesn't matter. They should have lost that one. That shouldn't have even have been 3 points for them. So that they were able to still progress to the next round in that last game was a miracle. Was a miracle, because that first match was so poor.
You know, it's funny though. I was thinking about when I was watching World Cup. I don't know which team I was watching, but it's funny that the big teams, what you see sometimes is that if they have like a very good players, like a generation of good players, sometimes they tend to stay too long with the same players because of their reputation or what they build up, you know, throughout these years. I'm not sure whether this is entirely applicable to Belgium, although you can argue, you know, all the way at old Vertongen, these kind of players. But what I'm trying to say is, you see, the World Cup always gives you like an indication, oh, wait, this team or this nation, they stuck too long with these players. You know, that's the feeling I get sometimes where they don't deliver.
I'm not even sure, for example, what Lukaku was doing on the pitch today. I mean, literally, there were no goalkeeper to keep him from scoring, and he was still able to lose the ball and just.
It's a shame,
I lost words.
Yeah, it's a shame because Lukaku completely lost his confidence, it seems. So I don't know. Yeah. It's hard, you know. I expected more from them, to be honest, but yeah.
Oh yeah, I thought they were gonna win that group, but at the same time, you know, because I think they were, you know, favorites.
I'm happy for Noes, for Mazraoui, and for Ziyech. Progressing to the next round. So I'm not sad about it at all.
Group winners.
They've been playing great.
Very well. So happy for them.
Yeah. Guys, just about the World Cup. So we talked about, you guys agree with me, possibly if you have to mention one goalkeeper so far who stood out, it would be Chesney. What about a player so far that impressed you the most? Pelle, who would you pick so far?
What's his face? Oh, I'm trying to remember the name. He plays for Bayern. He's you know, with the kid in the middle.
Musiala.
Yeah, that would be my pick. That would be my pick too.
Yeah, no, exactly. So he actually came out for me. Basically, came out of nowhere. So he's actually been playing great. I mean, I had to go with him because if I didn't, I would have to say Cody Gakpo, and you know, due to the fact that supporting another team right now, so I can't really praise PSV. He has been surprising as well. But yeah, no, I would definitely go for Musiala.
How about you, EyeJax?
It's a difficult question, man.
You saw everything, bro.
Yeah, but
with one eye.
I think Kudus played very well. And to keep it within our own kitchen, you know, within our own home, Ajax players. I think Kudus was terrific. I also like Bellingham from the England squad. I believe it's a Dortmund player, right?
Yeah.
So also very young. There's a nice few young players at the tournament showing their qualities. Like Musiala is one that stood out for me also. But one could argue, Germany also has 1 point, so they were very lucky that which team won the last game?
Costa Rica.
Help me out here. Costa Rica won that match because otherwise they would have been in trouble.
They would have been in big trouble.
Yeah, so they're very lucky that they can still go through quite easily if they just get a result.
Yeah.
So for me, Musiala was one that also showed some terrific qualities. And also, there are some like dark horses. I think that Valencia, for example, from Ecuador, scored a lot of goals. Really surprised me also with being that important for his team. He should not be the best player. And Mbappe, always terrific to watch.
Yeah.
More to come from him because he was on the bench the third game. They play in a B squad. So and also Gakpo, I think he helped us through difficult situations a few times. So even though he's a PSV player, I don't care. He carried us. Yeah. So the first, I believe, Dutch player to score all group stage matches at a World Cup. This is something ridiculous in a team that isn't playing that well.
Yeah,
true. And we're not even creating a lot of chances. Let's not forget that either.
That was also a stat that really surprised me, Juan. Since that we started measuring European entrants, in World Cups and European Cups since 1966. So that's almost 60 years. There was never. We were the poorest with that game against Ecuador with only 2 shot attempts. The goal and that one that flew over the goal, like way past the goal. Yeah. 2 shot attempts in the whole match. That says something, man.
That was the one game I missed, and I'm happy I did.
It's clear we have to get better. The Dutch squad has to get better. Let me ask you quickly. I will go one nation to you, Pelle, and one nation to you, EyeJax. Then we go to the comments. Sure. We have to end this session on time so everybody can go watch the final games at 8.
Yeah, exactly.
Here in Holland, at least. Pelle, Spain. What's your opinion on Spain?
Are we talking about the quality of the team, or are we talking about the vacation?
Yeah, the games they played so far.
Yeah, obviously.
No, not the food.
Yeah, no, exactly. This is not going to be a tour guide. No, exactly. No, exactly. I have to say that I love their midfield due to the fact that they add so much energy to it, and I love that type of play they have. Especially against Costa Rica, but that was one side that is all hell. Against Germany, they were a little bit less convincing, but at the same time, I do believe that it's a good team, especially in the midfield. Then the forwards sometimes could have been a little less more clinical, But I'd say definitely there's one of the more exciting ones to see when it actually comes to quality of football, rather than just going through by luck.
I don't know if you're a betting man. If you're a betting man, would you bet on them
to win the cup?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't. I wouldn't say that they're gonna win. They're probably not gonna win it. I would go for Brazil, I think.
Okay, so that will be my question to EyeJax. EyeJax, I'm giving you another nation, Brazil so far. What's your opinion on Brazil?
Yeah, one could not say that they do not love Brazil, because if you talk about football, if you talk about quality, you really always talk about Brazil, at least, It's one of those nations that always comes in that you have to talk about. So I like Brazil, and hopefully Neymar can continue after the group stage and play some more minutes, because it's really sad, his luck at tournaments, But the way I viewed Brazil, it's looking like a very, very solid team, like a group of friends. And you have seen in the past that they had a lot of big stars, and maybe they weren't always the best team. But at the moment, they show like they're really clicking together and also have a great team chemistry. Yeah. And this is something that is really important, besides all the obvious qualities they have in all the areas of the pitch. They seemed like they really like each other, and the chemistry is there. Yeah. This is even more important sometimes than the quality. So I have really high hopes for Brazil to go really far. I think final should be doable for them. And then it's always a lottery, you never know what happens in the final.
Can I second that throw just for a little bit quick?
Yeah, sure. I just want to ask, even without Neymar, you would give them a chance to advance to the final?
Definitely.
Okay. Pelle, go ahead.
I wanted to bring it back what you were saying, that basically watching them is like watching a good group of friends play football, and really good football. And that's just to bring it back to Ajax. That's kind of what I miss with the team, because you saw that last season. You kind of had that, when I've been on the podcast previously, Juan, I always talked about the fact that one thing I loved about the team was the dynamic. And that is the one thing that we're kind of losing right now. But as you said, EyeJax, that's one of the most crucial aspects. It doesn't really have to be about big names or talent. As long as the team actually plays as a well-oiled machine, then you can go very far in any tournament. And I'd say that that's probably one of the most crucial things we lost after the summer, when some people went out and some new people came in. So I think that's one of the crucial variables in explaining why we're actually doing quite poorly right now. And is that maybe on Schreuder? It might be. Who knows? I think it partly due to the fact that he has to be a good manager, but
also, if you look at it like broader in that season that we went to the semis, in the UCL, we had that in our team also. We had a great group of players like covering up for each other, fighting hard for each other, tracking back all the way to their own goal, like giving their lives for each other. And you do not see that at all this season. So I have to agree on that.
Yeah, but I think, look, I agree. But if it's not organized, some players, I really saw some players this season with Ajax not knowing what to do. I saw it on TV. I saw players sometimes thinking, okay, like this.
But Juan, let's look at it a little bit broader. Manchester United last season, right? We've done a lot of collaborations with United View, with other podcasts. You saw the same thing. A lot of islands, a lot of big gaps in between like the defense and the midfield and the forwards, and players not knowing what to do. And now they have a coach there. It isn't all peachy yet, They aren't at the first place, but they're doing quite well.
Yeah.
They're getting results, and the players know what to do. So
but that's the point.
You could see what a change of a manager can do and a change of tactics. So it has to do with the coach.
But I completely agree. That's what I'm trying to say. So, look, it seems very disgruntled, disorganized. You don't know what the players are doing. But in that sense, you cannot really blame the players because they don't have the structure to know what to do at certain situations. It's partly because new players, but partly also, I think, the coach.
I mean, that's exactly. I agree with you, Juan, due to the fact that, if it's a football team is like a business in that sense, because if things are going poorly, who are you going to blame? Well, most of the time it's going to be the management. And in this sense, I would probably have to point to Schreuder and say, like, okay, if you can utilize the team in a way that fits their individual strengths and weaknesses, then what are you doing that you need to step up? That is, we were talking about, what tips we would get to Schreuder. It's basically, you need to step up and actually be a manager and actually coach in that sense and actually make sure that these players are playing more together rather than, just individual pieces, because that obviously hasn't worked out.
Yeah. And also coming back, and also before you go to the comments, coming back to the Brazil, what you said, the group of friends and these kind of things, it's a very interesting point as well, because this World Cup, maybe we didn't mention it, but it's obvious, is different than other World Cups, basically, in the sense that they don't have 2-3 weeks to prepare for it.
No.
So you come in, you almost had like a week to come together, and the tournament started. So you can easily see which teams are already there or well grouped and which ones are still struggling or have to get better. And Belgium, for instance, from the start, they didn't look like a team together,
They don't even talk to each other.
Yeah, I have two things to say, and then let's go quickly to the comments form if you agree, because we have to round it up or people can not see the Germany getting eliminated.
Sure.
So, about what you're saying, I think I totally agree with you. Something I have to say about Ajax squad is the veterans should deliver. Also, if the tactics are altered, because they are at the team so many years already, they should be also coaching within the squad and also know what to do, read the game, know what Ajax is about. And even most of those veterans aren't delivering. So it's not all about the coach. I want to highlight that also. And the last thing about squads coming together for only a week. This is what we saw also earlier in the tournament, because people were saying, Saudi Arabia, they outperformed themselves, but they were preparing for the tournament for already, I believe, a few months.
True.
And Argentina came together for a week or something, as do other teams within the World Cup. And you could see, even with all due respect, the lower tier teams with less quality at less competitions, like smaller competitions, they can outperform certain big giants because they had more time to prepare.
Yeah.
So this is something that we should not forget.
Yeah.
Those were my two things I wanted to add. We have 3 questions to round it up with,
Sure.
3 interesting ones. One from Rick. With the quick turnarounds in the World Cup, if the Dutch were to go deep in the tournament, how do you think we will fare with our returning players and their fatigue? Same can go for other teams, of course, if they go deep.
Yeah.
I can take this one quickly, and then the other 2 questions, maybe you guys can take it. I think usually what happens is because they have the tournament, first they will have vacation time. I think they will have vacation, or maybe they have to come to Ajax first, and then they will have vacation. But the deeper they go, the less time they have, of course, to train with the other boys at Ajax, because we already start, I think, first week of January, or 8 January, you play the first game, something like that. So we don't have the usual winter breaks in which they're 2 weeks or 3 weeks before we start the game. So this is also a disadvantage for Schreuder because he doesn't have all his players at the moment, and we're heading into the Christmas period. I don't know. I'm wondering what the schedule will look like, how far the training will go to include everyone in it. So let's see, Rick. Good question, by the way.
Yeah, lovely question. Another good question, in my opinion, is from Thomas. The Dutch goalkeeper, Noppert, that became our first goalkeeper from Heerenveen, at the age of 28. Would he be like a great target for Ajax? Maybe he's asking that. We really liked his performance for the Dutch squad so far. I have to agree with him. I think he did pretty well. And it's a good question, in my opinion, also, Juan, because we have like Pasveer now. He's really old. Stekelenburg is really old, and we only have Gorter that should get a chance, in my opinion, still. But what do you guys think? Should he be an option for Ajax as a new first goalkeeper?
What do you think?
I take it one.
But let me ask
you. You're more invested in the national team than I am.
Oh, okay. EyeJax, go ahead.
Yeah, I think he could be an option. I think he surprised me a lot, and what I like about him is he's really tall, and he's a great reach. So, and also he was quite comfortable on the ball. Also, I saw him make some passes like between 2 like chasing attackers, like right through the middle towards one of our own players. And you have to have confidence to play a ground pass like that. So he really surprised me with his footwork. And I'd rather have him, I think, than Vlekken, who has been mentioned before also. So he really surprised me. But it's difficult to say, I really have to be honest. I didn't see him play much for Heerenveen because I do not watch them a lot of times. I'm not that guy that watches a lot of Eredivisie games beside Ajax. A few, sometimes like the summaries, but not the whole matches. So, but in the current World Cup, I think he's doing quite well. So why not?
Yeah, I have a slightly different opinion about this. First of all, I'm not happy that we have to see him in the World Cup to come to the conclusion that he's a good goalkeeper that will fit Ajax. It should have been done before. He's not a young goalkeeper, by the way, just to be clear. He's 28 already. So this is I think this is by far the highest level he has been goalkeeping. And one other thing I want to mention, and I'm not taking anything away from him, he's been excellent with the things he had to do. But there were not a lot of chances that we can see that he has a group of players in front of him. Our defense is incredible. It's like world-class material.
Yeah.
So it's very hard for me to assess based on that whether he would be good enough for Ajax. But one thing is for sure, and I agree with EyeJax on this, we have goalkeepers that are close to retirement. So we need
or for our current age of goalkeepers, he's like a young buck, He
can go for 10 years. Yeah, he can go for 10 years.
For the future, right?
Absolutely. Okay, last question.
Last question from our buddy Gary. Thoughts on the title. He's nervous. He doesn't see us winning it. Come on, Gary. Keep the faith, man. If PSV keeps Cody, Gakpo, I think it's going to PSV. Hope I'm wrong. What about you guys?
Pelle, you can
go.
Go.
Of course, I'm nervous. I've been nervous the entire season because I started off saying the fact that I wasn't really that confident in us winning the title. I think we still have a great chance to do it, especially because PSV has been really inconsistent as well. They're suffering some of the same problems as we have, especially when it comes to like mid-table and low-table teams. So I don't think in that case they go to PSV. I would hate to say it. If someone's gonna win this over us, It's going to. I hate to. I don't
I'm going to
even,
mute him. I'm going to mute him.
You know who it is. I don't want to say it loud. You know.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to give them the gratification of me saying it. But that's why we really need to step up our game.
Yeah, I said he means I said.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, exactly. As I said, yeah, no, exactly. Don't read between the lines, you guys. I don't want to get kicked out of Amsterdam next time I'm there.
Yeah. No, so yeah, I'm not that nervous. Still very confident because I think we should still have the best team to win it at the end of the season. I just hope Schreuder gets his act together and start playing the right players at the right position and start thinking about tactics a little bit more, and also gets a little bit more self-awareness. Because with Kaiser and with Den Haag, the first 6 months weren't that great, and Kaiser even didn't survive after that 6 months. So maybe we're all wrong, and he's going to surprise us at the end. I'm really hoping he does. I'm really hoping he does because I want the best for my team. But it will be a difficult road. But let's put it like this, guys. Let's end on a high. We played this badly the first half of the season. Only the 5 first matches were great with points-wise, and we're still only 3 points behind Feyenoord, and even above PSV with playing this poorly. So, in my opinion, it can only go a little bit up from here. This is my positive attitude towards that. So, hopefully, I'm right.
All right, that's the end of the show. Everyone, thank you for tuning in. Good luck with the games. Like, subscribe, and we'll see you next week. It will be at 8 o'clock this time. Sorry for last week. I said 8 o'clock, but next week we can do it at 8. Pelle, thank you. EyeJax, thank you.
Thank you for having me.
All right. Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.